What I like, I'm just going to start like we started. You can put some music in later. What I like is not only does Special K here look exactly like Carl Pilkington, but you can tell he's in a nice house. I'm in a decent apartment because there's things. You look like you're in a crack den, chair. Do you live where crack is distributed and sold for sex, money, and other nefarious things?
I feel like there's too much lighting in here for it to be a crack house.
Fair. But it does look like bad things happen there.
I mean,
Especially with that gay porno mustache. What are you doing?
Yeah, what's with the porn stash?
It was like being a male steward on a plane. It says you're gay enough. You don't need the mustache. You know?
It's to hold the cum later.
It's a cum holder.
Yep.
Flavor saver, as we call it in the business.
You're
nasty as hell.
It doesn't.
Shut up. I'm going to talk now. So this is my favorite time of year. Not Christmas. Into the semester. And I'll tell you why. My students are in full bride mode. And I have said from the beginning, I am 100% bribable. You just have to get the right thing. This is what I got on Friday.
Oh my god.
Big as my head.
Someone's going to have a very numb Christmas.
Yeah. So I was trying to tell my I like to ruin things for my students as much as possible. So I was telling my students the other day, in between calling some of them, that they look like a potato with Down syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying that a lot lately. The story of Christmas starts when a teenage girl gets raped in her sleep by God. Because that was not consensual. Mary should Me Too God, because that was not consensual. And she, good for her that she went to full term, but she didn't have to.
I mean, good for Joseph to carry the kid. That's not even his.
Well, he's a simp. Everyone knows that Joseph's a simp.
That's true.
So, thoughts on my theory?
There's no validity to this.
Pussies.
Yeah, no,
So, my other thing that I like to ruin Christmas
go
with.
for the welfare?
What's that? Well, yeah, she's part plague. Because she's got two husbands, God and Joseph. She's polyamorous. When she went with Joseph, she got that NRE, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's almost like she went to
You guys are not up on the whole. You guys are so not woke. You're asleep.
Well, if you let me finish my goddamn sentence, Hyrum. HC. See, I got mad. I called you your full name.
You know what that means?
Crack it open. Sip, 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 sip.
Oh, it's got one of those baby bib things on the top. Let's take that off. God. Start talking!
It's almost like Mary tried to go to the authorities and happened to run into three kings that just gaslit her and gave her gifts instead.
God damn it, Jameson. You do to me every time. I love you. Yeah.
Good theory.
This episode going downhill very
Like,
quickly.
She's got paid off by the three wise men. Because they were there watching.
It's like a mafia thing where like pay him off to keep the kid.
I don't think it's a mafia thing. I think you just made that up.
I've been watching a lot of Sopranos, so anything I refer to as a mafia thing.
You know what? I was going to start because I gave myself an early Christmas present, which was getting HBO Max. I figured it was time. All the stuff I want to watch is there anyway. So I got through a couple seasons of Sopranos. So what I would do is I would rent The Sopranos right when my first kid was born. because you got to go do so much of that whole like baby horse shit that you have on the TV at all times just to keep the little fucker away from you for 5 seconds. And so it's constantly, you know, we're going on a trip in a minute. And you're doing that because you'll kill them. And they don't leave you alone. So at night, we would put on like The Sopranos and Goodfellas, just like just death and swearing. We didn't want to see any sex because we're like, we've already did this horrible goblin over here. We just want murder. We want blood.
Yep. And
so yeah, I got through a couple seasons of The Sopranos. Really loved it. Just never got to finish it.
Yeah, I'm
Here it's an amazing ending. Like everyone loved it.
I don't know how I've gotten through it with it being out for like the last 20 years, and I have no idea about the ending.
Well, you were a child when it first came out.
I think so. I don't know.
You had a good parent. Why am I so?
Max.
Please tell me that my camera is blurry and that I'm not already.
It is.
I was gonna say it was funny because you took it one. You took one.
Well, it's because I did this with the bottle.
Yeah, and it focused on the bottle. I thought it was funny that the one person getting blurry in his mind from alcohol is also the one who has a blurry ass camera.
This is gonna be interesting because I actually haven't drank in months and months and months and months and months and months.
Yeah, since summer, right?
I mean, I've had a beer here and there, but not like how I used to drink when I was with the Beast.
Before we move on to another topic,
why's your mic so? Yeah, you're gonna speak like we're gonna have to hear you. You know that, right?
My mixer's being weird. It's a bit better. So you remember the app I've brought screenshots from? I've just described from the
that
app Whisper.
Game you keep wanting us to play with you. That adult MMORPG you keep trying to trick me into playing. What's it called?
No.
Reindeer Rim Job or something. I gotta apologize. I'm in a really weird mood.
Anyway, the Whisper app, a bunch of people posted the weirdest thing that they walked in on.
Whisper?
And the second one on there, I just walked in on my uncle having an Italian mob boss meeting in his den with a bunch of guys armed with guns.
Why is that weird? I'd love to do that. I'd love to walk in on that.
No, you would.
You're pretty close to it though, like the old mafia, like old.
Yeah, are any of your students related?
I had one student who definitely family was in the mob. His dad ran a pizza joint in the Bronx, and he owned a lot of property around town that constantly needed construction. And so he was going to school to become an electrician so he could help out. And he once took one of the mafia bosses or head up mafiosos, one of their daughters on a date. So
dangerous.
Well, you have to be in a date.
Well, I just don't think that they let them date anybody.
Yeah, you have to date. You have to be in a date.
So it was like, oh, okay, you're in. That was like the code. Like if you knew, you knew. You know.
Yeah.
He did a couple side jobs with me. He was a really good worker. I call him a dirty, greasy wop guinea every day. He loved it. He's like, that's me, Mr. Willard. Ah, ooh. Who gives a fuck? I hate Italians.
He wears Nochi on his necklace.
I can't tell you how much I hate Italians. I deal with them every fucking day here in New York, and you're just like, you sided with Hitler. That was you guys. Why do you think you're so great?
You're still holding that grudge, are you?
Yeah. Yeah. No, but everyone thinks that they're so fucking amazing. I'm like, did you know how many Jews they killed?
Yeah. Mussolini wasn't a great guy.
You know what? That guy's kind of a jerk, actually.
Yeah, you know that guy Mussolini, bit of a cunt.
The flaming C word.
While delivering pizza long ago, I once walked into a literal porn shoot. That was an interesting shift.
I've done that. That's not that big a deal. Did I not tell you I did that one time?
No, I knew that there was a porn shooting down close to Vicky's place where she was working.
No, well, no. Well, that was like a
big tub
studio.
of fake
No, that's
jizz.
different. Because they don't shoot outside, obviously. No, I was doing this really shitty movie, like usual, and it was in the woods outside, like a little bit in the mountains, just outside like Reseda, kind of the backside there, and it was a place where we already knew that porn was being shot, but we were doing alternate times so we didn't run into each other. But we did. Because I had to get there early, and there was a little slither action outside on a on a thing. I was like, that's great. You two are cool chicks. But I didn't mean to. It just happened.
Well, you never mean to. Unless you're in the porn.
Well, no, they wanted me to be. Before I knew what it was, they actually asked me if I would be. I would play a cuck. That I would sit and watch him like I'm watching a TV that's supposed to be like they've already filmed the scene, obviously, and I'm supposed to watch it and get all like distraught, be like, oh, like all weirded out that my supposed wife or girlfriend was getting fucked. I'm like, yeah, I'm cool. So much of me wishes I would have done it, just because I would show that scene in my class.
Now, would you have gone for a real screen credit or made up a name?
I mean, if I was going to make up a name, I'd at least do something like interesting, but I don't know. Okay, probably at the time I would have done something stupid like what's the old thing, like your pet and where you lived? Or something like that. What's your porn name thing? Like your middle name and where the street you lived or something? Really? You guys have never heard this?
I've seen them, but I didn't think it was something real.
Play? No, this is a total like you're in grade school type, like middle school, and they're just like, your porn name is like your middle name, and then the street that you grew up on.
So and your favorite color.
It's a great porn name, though. I guess not. Never mind. Fuck you.
Sorry, I was cutting out for a little bit. I didn't hear the actual porn name.
Perfect. I'm keeping it that way.
So I don't look up your credits?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually an international porn star. I've been keeping it a secret all these years.
If I had to give...
It's mainly ball hog stuff, but
I walked in on my neighbors wrestling in full-blown wrestling outfits.
Like high school, college wrestling, or like pro wrestling?
They didn't define, so I'm guessing it was backyard semi-pro.
Sick. They walked where? Into a living room? I don't think it was semi-pro.
Backyard.
Oh, it was in somebody's backyard. Is backyard wrestling considered semi-pro though?
I think there's money.
I know. I've read stories of guys trying to get into pro wrestling from backyard leagues.
Okay, why?
Alabama.
No, why are you reading those stories, you psycho?
What
was that, Jeremy? We just turned into like our creepy uncles. Like, you do it for the cash. Come on.
Well, speaking of cash, I don't really gamble that much, but sometimes I put money on like sports and fights.
Sure.
I won a 4-leg parlay this weekend on the UFC fights.
Nice. How much you make?
I put $1.50. Just it was the last of my account, and I won $100.
Oh, cool.
Too bad you weren't more responsible with your money, and you could have made some money. But I guess That's the reason why you're gambling, because you have $1.50 left in your account. Am I right?
So I put $40 in this account like a year ago, and I've been writing off of that for a year, just on like small wins and losses.
Oh, you're just saying like that's your gambling account.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's no big deal. I thought you meant like in general.
No.
You had $1.50 in your name. You're just like, let it ride.
Oh no.
That or a scratcher?
Yeah. The kids don't eat. Yeah.
Yeah, thankfully I'm single, so I don't have to deal with the kids. But myself likes to eat some food.
Oh, I just remember the other thing I tell my students about Christmas is that Santa creeps me out because he's this old dude who's got an unhealthy obsession with children, sneaks into their house, and leaves presents. They're called payoffs because he's diddling all those kids in their sleep. Merry Christmas, everybody.
He must work for CNN.
Oh, that's a Cuomo joke.
It's not a Cuomo joke, but that doesn't make any sense. Because
Cuomo's producer got arrested last week.
People, his brother did. So if we were talking about Santa Claus's brother, like fucking Hanukkah Harry or whatever.
Producer, after like 2 days after Cuomo got fired from CNN, got arrested for trying to hook up with a 9-year-old.
Oh, you can't do that?
Not anymore, at least.
Well, you're in New York.
Where do you think CNN's based out of? Not Atlanta
2
anymore.
notable deaths last week.
Anyway,
One I know, Hyrum.
With the CNN pedophile story. My bad. I'm looking at these really bad movies, and I'm going to name some off, and I want you to tell me if you've seen some of these bad movies. I'm at Wikipedia, just list of films considered to be the worst of all time.
Okay, I want us to get a definition of bad.
Well, they're pretty bad.
Well, because we haven't talking about porn.
Well, there's no... Except for the ones that only have dudes in them. Those are...
Ryan's Privates.
All right, so I know you've seen some of these because we've endured Howard the Duck before. Have you seen Ishtar?
Superstar?
Ishtar.
Oh, Ishtar, no.
I think I did.
Superman 4. Ugh. Quest for Peace.
Bad.
Garbage Pail Kids movie. I watched many times because I was 7 at the time. Oh, yeah. Leonard Part 6. I know you've seen that show. First, you put the rupee in the drink. And then Caddyshack 2. I actually never seen Caddyshack 2.
I haven't seen that either.
Nope. But I've always heard Dan Aykroyd doing his Bill Murray type character. I was like, nah, I can't do it.
He's a weird guy. Dan Aykroyd.
Why?
He's Tiz.
Yeah, so you can relate.
What's wrong with Dan Aykroyd?
I feel like he's really lost his mind over the last 5 years. I know I don't bring up Joe Rogan, but he did a Joe Rogan appearance and to sell his vodka, and the guy was talking about crystal skulls for 2 hours.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's Dan Aykroyd all the way.
That is totally Dan Aykroyd.
His dad was a leading paranormal investigator. That's why all the stuff in Ghostbusters was very accurate, because his dad literally wrote the book on ghost hunting, back in the 50s and 60s. So he grew up weird. Don't worry about it. That's normal.
And he's very autistic.
If Dan Aykroyd wasn't talking about aliens and crystal skulls and ghosts, I'd be like, something's wrong with Dan Aykroyd.
He's loading up the guns for the schools.
He's what?
Loading up the guns for schools.
Yeah, duh. I keep a gun in my office. It's not a big deal. You can do that. I'm joking.
I didn't know that's a thing in New York.
Highlander 2, The Quickening. Did you not see
Never
Highlander
watched
2?
those back to back. There are so many plot holes.
There's not enough plot holes. And of course, like there's the classics, like Showgirls and Batman and Robin. Those striptease. But here's the thing: like, there's a whole 2010 list because I kind of stopped watching movies for a while, just because it was like nothing good was coming out. So I just like whatever. I'm not gonna waste time unless I really want to see it. 2010 has a lot of gems in here.
Of bad movies?
Yeah. So, of course, there's Birdemic.
I never saw that one.
Last Airbender. I think that was only because the fans had like
It wasn't horrible.
are obsessed with that bullshit.
Well,
So
you saw...
stuff when it's not like perfect. What?
Wait. My dad saw The Last Airbender, and I haven't seen the movie. You're talking about the kid, like the bald kid that...
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a live action.
Yeah, and it was horrible.
It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen.
Okay, I love how like there's two Adam Sandler films back to back with Jack and Jill, which was super.
Yeah,
fun.
that had to be on there. Never saw that.
That's My Boy, which I didn't see either of those.
Didn't see that one either. It looked too bad.
Is That's My Boy the one with where he allegedly finds out this kid is like his or something? Or...
Yeah, that's the Andy Samberg, where his son. Yeah, like Andy Samberg plays his son.
Oh, that one. Okay, yes.
I want to say, is that a Netflix, like, straight to Netflix thing? Because I actually have a standing rule in my class that we don't bring up Adam Sandler films after his Netflix career started.
Well, that's I think both of those were before Netflix. I believe those came out in the theater.
I want to say That's My Boy didn't. I really want to say that's... Yeah. Well,
that's a theater release, I'm pretty sure.
Is it really? Holy shit. So the first time I saw it was when it went to Netflix then. That's how little I cared.
Wait, so finish your list and then we'll talk about Adam Sandler for just 1 second.
So this is my favorite one, right? Movie 43. And the only reason why I remember this film, I didn't see it. I remember watching actor and actresses in interviews trying to act like they were never in movie 43. Because it was basically supposed to be this like Kentucky Fried Movie, kind of a bunch of sketches into a movie type film. And I was like,
oh my goodness.
Why would I want to watch that? They already did that with Kentucky Fried Movie.
I've never actually heard of that.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? You know what's going to knock your dick off? Is I'm going to read the list of stars who were in this fucking movie. Dennis Quaid, Greg Kinnear, Hugh Jackman, Kate Winslet, Liev Schreiber, Naomi Watts, Anna Faris, Emma Stone, Richard Gere, Uma Thurman, Gerard Butler, Halle Berry, Stephen Merchant, Kristen Bell, Terrence Howard, Elizabeth Banks, Johnny Knoxville, Justin Long, Chris Pratt, and Jason Sudeikis.
How'd they even pay for this film?
It's a Peter Farley flick. You know, the Farley brothers? So, yeah. Once you do Dumb and Dumber, they kind of give you license to do what you want, even if it's like 2 decades late and nobody gives a shit anymore. But I just really remember watching these like interviews where somebody would bring up movie 43 and they're just like, we're going to move on now.
Here's some background on the film. The film took almost a decade to get into production as most studios rejected the script, which was eventually picked up by Relativity Media for $6 million. The film was shot over a period of several years. Can't keep that continuity. As casting also proved to be a challenge for the producers. Some actors, including George Clooney, declined to take part, while others, such as Richard Gere, attempted to get out of the project.
I like this review. A world where a film like this can exist only reminds me of other contemptible acts performed by humankind since the dawn of time.
Pretty solid.
Pretty good. Let's see. And then it kind of ends up here in the last couple I've actually heard of. There was that Dirty Grandpa with Robert De Niro and Zac Efron. It's pretty terrible. And then, of course, Cats.
Oh, dude.
Thankfully, I never saw that.
There's a bunch more on that list, but like a bunch of, whatever. Glitter and Battlefield Earth and like Catwoman. Like, we all know those. We know. We know the Master of Disguises. We know the From Justice.
Of course you do.
We know the Geelys of the world. We don't need to go over those ones again. Yeah, good times. So you're saying more Adam Sandler stuff?
I know that you haven't watched movies recently, but did you see or hear about Uncut Gems?
Yeah, and I hear it is really good, but I also hear it's not good if you have high levels of anxiety.
Yeah, that's true. I don't
know how far I'd get into that.
I want you to watch it because I'm on the very I'm on an island of my own, and in the minority of the people who hate that movie with a fiery passion.
Okay, so you want me to watch a movie you hate just so someone else agrees with you that it should be hated?
Yes.
Okay, man.
It's just I hate movies. See, I hate movies that people like are just automatic dick writers. Like, it's the first time that Adam Sandler's acted serious in a movie, and people.
No. Punch Drunk Love was awesome.
I didn't see it.
That's the last time he was really like pretty amazing in the film. Yeah, Punch Drunk Love.
And there was that one where he's got PTSD.
PSD, huh?
Are you talking about 50 First Dates?
No, Drew Barrymore has PTSD from having a career with Adam Sandler.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
I can't remember the name of it. He's a supporting character in the show, and he bumps into some old friends, and he's like, he's totally falling apart because his wife died. That's all I remember
Something
from
called Rain Me Over. Yeah.
No, it was a straight drama.
Never even heard of it.
Anyway, people were just dick writing the fact that Adam Sandler could act, even though his acting in that movie was atrociously bad and the story wasn't even that great. It was just, like I said, high anxiety. It was just shot weird. I don't know. Like, I remember watching it in the theater, and my friends were like, "Oh my goodness, that movie was amazing," and I was just like, "That was the most bullshit movie I've ever seen in my entire life." Like, I don't know why anyone. And so I'm just like, every time I talk to movies with people who have no idea what good movies are, they always bring that one up, and I'm like, you guys are out of your minds. The movie is so, like, it's fine, but it's not the greatest thing I've ever seen.
All right, well, let's try best movies of all time.
Well, Shawshank Redemption is one, I think.
Shut up.
That should be on there.
If you're checking the IMDb list,
I'll go to IMDb, fuckface. Yeah, there's Shawshank, first one, above Godfather for some fucking reason.
I disagree with that.
Talk about fucking overrated. I'm not saying Shawshank's a bad film. Number one of all time, bullshit.
Oh, agreed, obviously.
I would put Goodfellas on top of that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, I think Godfather is the greatest movie. I mean, I recently rewatched it, and the fact that the movie came out like 1979 or something like that.
Which one? What?
Godfather.
Was it that late? I know it was filmed earlier in the 70s.
Godfather.
Oh yeah. Godfather's amazing. I know it's not like the the end all be all, but I went with Wikipedia for the worst, so I'm going back to Wikipedia for the best.
Okay, that's fair. Also, what is this like? What are these ratings based off? Just highest critique reviews?
Well, I think the worst of all time had to do with sales, reviews, and then of course like stuff like Rotten Tomatoes type, you know,
Okay.
where viewers are actually weighing in as well.
Right. So this one, Greatest of All Time, is what awards?
This is National and International Survey of Critics and the Public.
Okay.
Whatever that means. Let's see, action. See, this is a weird list because it's not a list. It's like, here's in this category. I'm like, why are we doing this now?
Right. Weird. Because
So
that's
comedy. See, this is what I don't get. Like, see, this is why I don't trust people. In comedy, some like it hot. Are you fucking kidding me? That horse
Some like
shit is. But then they'll have Blazing Saddles underneath. So they're
Right.
like. It's like a woman has tits for the first time. Let's make it the best movie of all time.
The sad part is I just found out 2 weeks ago that Blazing Saddles was actually written by Richard Pryor. I had no idea.
Some of it was. Because if you talk to, fucking dead. If you listen to interviews with Mel Brooks, he had a kind of a team of writers, and Richard Pryor was one of them. So, and he was actually from what Mel Brooks said, he did all the Mongo lines.
Oh yeah.
He gave him Mongo. He's like, here I am, you know, this white, you know, Jewish guy writing all the lines for the black sheriff, and here's the black guy doing Mongo's lines. What are you gonna do? So I think, what are you guys doing for Christmas? Anyway.
I somehow got it off, so I'll be in St. George.
Gross.
I'm working on Jeremy's car.
Even grosser.
It sounds like half the family is coming down to mom and dad's house.
So you're looking out, is what it sounds like.
2,500 miles away. I have my kids this year, so I probably won't be cripplingly depressed like last year.
That's better.
Yeah, do you want to recount what you did last year for the holidays?
No.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Do you remember what you did last year for the holidays?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's a good sign.
No, I don't actually.
It's fine. It's just a date.
So last year, it was a week and a half from Christmas, and a woman I had been seeing for a bit, maybe more than a month. So Tuesday, I went to her house and had dinner with all her kids and their girlfriends and all that stuff. We had a great time. Wednesday, she sent me All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. And then on Thursday, she called me up and said, I can't do this. It was like a week and a half to Christmas. And guess what song was everywhere? Fucking Mariah Carey's All I Fucking Want.
That's part of a script right there, dude.
See, I get more
Is that
mad.
what you were talking about? Is that where you're tiptoeing around, Jeremy?
No, I you never told me about that.
How could that not be brought up in conversation? It's the best story of all time.
You never told me that. I was just referring to the bender you had on last holidays by yourself.
Well, that obviously explains the bender.
I don't know what you're talking about. If I can't remember it, it didn't happen. Those are the rules.
Fair. That's fair. There's no one
You
here
want to
recording.
hear a really cool update to all that?
Oh, yeah.
When's the last time we even talked?
August, I think.
Okay, so in that time,
Because we did a podcast right after you got back from Utah.
did we?
I think so.
We did. I haven't put it up. I've been too busy.
Not like anyone's watching it anyway.
No one. So at that time, did I talk about having a girlfriend or not?
So you were talking to somebody when you were out in Utah. I don't.
Yeah, that didn't work out. When I saw her, it was like it felt like a lot of work.
Yes, that's what you're saying, and now you're on to someone else.
Okay, broke up with her in October.
Wait, which one?
So the woman I was talking to in Utah,
okay.
It was like there was just no spark there when I saw her, like zero.
Yeah.
So about a couple days later, I started going out with this woman for about 2 months solid. We were going out. Here's a great kick.
Was she the one that was friends with Victoria?
Like Victoria's best friend. That was the best thing about it. Fucking her best friend. I recommend it. It was super satisfying. We broke up. She like pulled way back. Like we were like seeing each other consistently every other week because she'd have her kids every other week, and then all of a sudden it was like she didn't see me at all, and so I kind of said, hey, why don't we take a break? You can think about what you really want, because she was going out of town anyway for some conference, and then when she got back, she basically told me that I was being controlling. When all I did was ask her what you wanted from this relationship, and if you don't want to be one, you should probably do that too. So it's weird how I was being controlling. Anyway,
yeah.
2 days later, I got a Facebook message from
Mark Zuckerberg.
The lady who broke up with me last December.
Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey broke up with me last December. And she's like, hey, you want to get like a drink and maybe some appetizers, whatever. I'm like, I was at the time, I was just like, you know what, fuck it. Whatever, why not? That night we ended up talking for like 4 hours straight. And she told me like what was really going on during that time. And it was pretty heavy stuff. And so she was overwhelmed. And now we're dating.
So
Merry Christmas.
Next Mariah Carey in her text.
Send me that song for a bit. But no, she had very legitimate reasons for what was going on. It was pretty nasty work stuff, like sexual harassment type stuff.
Oh.
So it was just too much. It was too much, and I get that. So anyway, but because she was so open and honest with me when we started talking again, I was like, oh, all right, this could work. All you need is good communication, really, and any relationship can really, do really well. So, yeah, so we've been going pretty strong.
Now, Tiz, cue the music. All I want for Christmas.
Keep going.
That's okay. I don't know the words.
I bet your mustache does.
What are you laughing at? That doesn't mean anything.
I know, it's so nonsensical. Don't you bark, Monk.
Oh, speaking of, so I always like when I go to grandma and grandpa's, I ask how the house is going, and then they never really give me like a direct answer. Figure I should ask you, what the hell's going on with your house? Because I thought you like finalized the house like 2 months ago, and then
no. So to like,
sorry, not to
about
bring
5 years to do anything.
Sorry, say
and it
again?
was like the more closer I was getting to this house being like bought by me, it was like the reality of how much work I was going to have to put in for grad schools was really, while working full time, was hitting me pretty hard. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to see this going really, really slow as a sign here from the, I'm going to say the God. I don't think he cares about me that much. Maybe like his second cousin, twice removed, Rod. So like Rod was like, no, this isn't cool. So I got out of that, and now I've got a different. I'm putting a bid on a different, not bid, but I got an offer. I'm putting in an offer at this other house that's less property, less actual house, which is what I want. I want something. I'd rather have somewhere that's smaller, that I can really make up and like really utilize rather than have like a bigger place where I just have rooms for rooms. Because right now it's like what? Just me. And then when I get that place, I'll have my kids every couple weeks, you know? So it's a nice smaller place, but the reason why I like it so much is it's away from everybody. I've got like 2 neighbors, and it makes me happy. I will have 2 neighbors. So right now I'm like back in the process of getting loans together. That's where I'm at. But the people who own it have accepted my offer, and so now it's just get the loan, get an appraisal, and we should be okay. But I like this house. But getting houses suck. Sucks. I hate it so much.
How long does the process usually take you in New York?
Minimum 2 months if you're lucky.
Wow.
I'm just telling you, it just takes time. It's like out here, I mean, Jeremy's seen it. You know, it's really rural, so there's like one guy doing like the whole county for everything. So it just takes time. But hopefully, by the end of January is when they're pretty much saying, no, this will happen at the end of January.
Cool.
So yeah, I get to move in the middle of the coldest fucking winter. But that's okay, because my girlfriend, I've actually taught 2 of her sons in school. That's how we kind of like started talking in the first place. Because her son gave me her number and said, hey, if she gives you some, give me an A. Something like that. Actually, that's what I told him. I said, you know, your grade is really dependent on your mom's blowjob skills.
So bribe-wise, how does it compare to the Jameson?
I'd rather have the blowjobs. That didn't happen.
Jokes.
No, I mean, I told him that. It never happened. Because now that I'm dating her, he's not in my class anymore, so it's a little bit more
more
ethical.
Yeah.
Ethical. I'm going with ethical on this one. Professional and ethical. Yeah. Well, not that me dating his mom before would have done anything. The kid who gave me her number, her son, I should say, this fucking kid who gave me her number. He was an A student anyway. He was super smart, so it didn't matter.
Hey, nice A, son. By the way, I'm fucking your mom.
That would be very unprofessional.
Yeah, so right up your alley.
So during the break, we were outside the building, and I saw him. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? I banged your mom last night. It's really good. Dirty girl. Dirty! Woo! Allegedly. That didn't happen. That's hearsay. You know what? I'm paranoid now because our provost is under investigation for sexual misconduct.
What is?
She did to a gay guy.
Sorry, what's happening?
The vice president of where I work is under investigation by the state for sexually harassing one of the instructors, who happens to be a gay guy. It's pretty cool.
Sweet.
So now everyone's paranoid, which is great. And from what I hear, there's about 30 some odd investigations now going through. Like, you know how like you finally get caught doing like the one big bad thing, then it opens the floodgates for everything else that they're just like, oh, these are all the signs leading up to the bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're doing it all.
So your time's coming, is what you're saying.
And no, man, I never get complaints.
But plus, when the vice president of the college is doing it, you know that rolls downhill. There's other people doing stuff as bad or worse.
Yeah, probably. Well, we did have from what I hear, this is total alleged, because it is hearsay, because I heard it from somebody. That's why, because I heard it, he said it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it works.
He was telling me that one of the presidents that was there before this, we had a president who just stepped down. The president before him was taken out of commission because he got caught having sex with some cleaner woman, one of the janitors. That's what they say. I don't have any proof.
What do you mean?
The guys that
To the best of my knowledge, that never happened.
I was gonna say all you have to do is drive to one side of the town and just talk to them.
Pretty much. That's the thing. Like, you can't, for how small of college town that I live in, you can't fuck around and have it be kept a secret. It's just not going to happen.
Well, it's funny how you call it a town when it's like it's the size of maybe.
It's a village. It's a village. Yeah.
Because I thought Cedar City was a small college town.
No.
And then
No, Cedar City has restaurants.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I mean there's restaurants, but they're just all local. Like they don't have any chain anything.
No.
It's a main street, and two colleges on either side of this valley. That's it. It's nothing. There's a couple good bars there. I know that.
So one of the guys that ran the Cox after I had left, and it was after Arlen had left, he got caught by security at 2 a.m, boning one of the techs against the proscenium.
What's wrong with that?
He worked there and he was their supervisor.
So she was getting her raise. It's St. George. That's acceptable, right?
Not at all.
Oh. I guess times they are a changing. So is Dixie State whatever still Dixie State?
Not this summer.
What are they changing it to?
Utah Tech.
Utah Technical University. Sounds like a tech college.
It's not a tech college.
Nope.
UT.
And half the art students are ready to go.
Come to UTI for all your cranberry juice needs. Jesus Christ. UTU.
Well, before that they were going
sounds
for
so...
Utah Polytechnic University, which was UPSU.
What was going to be?
Utah Polytechnic. I forget what the S was. All I know is as soon as it got out, the college was being mocked so harshly on social media, they realized they had to step that one back.
Why don't they just call it something classy like Southwest Utah University? SWSU.
Boneheads.
At least that sounds classy. Not like it's a piece of shit. It's kind of a piece of shit, though, if you think about it.
Yeah. Well, and the way they've gone about this, they're cutting themselves off from the community. They're going to lose all local support.
Well, they just call it the Southern Utah Plig Ranch. That'd be cool.
Is that Mojave College?
That's right. The Mojave Medical I'm not going to say anything bad about that because didn't your wife graduate from the prestigious?
It's not just medical. It is where my wife got her degree, but it's not just medical.
No, what I'm saying, I don't want to shit all over the place that your wife graduated from.
I don't think she cares that much.
Well, ironically, it's a sister campus from a college out of Flagstaff.
Well, it's just over in Arizona, right?
Yeah, just over the border.
Where the crickers live.
Oh my goodness. The University of Shivwitz.
You're drinking again, dude.
Larry. I'm having a flashback. This is what's happening.
I like USU, Utah Shivwitz University.
Please tell me that's a thing.
We got to start it.
That'd be great. There was a guy who was
Utah
on
Skinwalker University.
There was a guy who was on the Indian Council, I believe they're called. That's me not being racist, by the way.
I was
Their
gonna
official
say, okay.
name.
the Committee of
The
Headdresses.
Native American Council.
Anyway, so a bunch of these red men get together and they
Oh my God.
so they call it, savages unite. So we, I'm joking.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're talking about the scalp
joke.
collector. The scalp collectors. Continue.
Anyway, so he was saying this was like a white guy who was like kind of this ambassador guy. And so he was talking to him because it's like everybody from Utah was there. So you got the Utes and they're the big ones. Anybody else? Anyway, so the Shitwits are there. And so
you
he's
name
like,
one. You name one, you're like, that's all I need.
well, the whole state's named after the fuckers.
The Utes, the Paiutes, the Navajos. Come on, there's at least the big three. The Utes, and the rest. Fuck you, dude. I know you cleared them all. I know they're all gone in New York, but there's still some that remain in the west side of the.
All the ones in New York have been killed so long ago that they don't recognize that they were here in the first place.
It's all ghost stories.
Yeah. That's why this land.
They're wiped out before the Trail of Tears.
Oh, come on! We're laughing, having a good time. He brings up the Trail of Tears. Jesus. You know how to you could fuck up a wet dream. So he was at this meeting where all, the tribes of Utah are, because, it's not just, because we say Shivwits and like everyone's like, what the hell is that? That's the Native American tribe that's in southern Utah. And there's a bunch of small ones everywhere, up and down the state. And so the guy was like, well, where's the Shivwits land in kind of the hierarchy of groups? And one of the Native Americans, who's very respectfully replied, the Shivwits are the N-words of the Native American groups here in Utah.
Oh. If that's a real story, that's amazing.
That's a real story. I swear, hand on my children's life. That's a real, honest to God story that really happened.
I so hope that they expanded what they meant specifically by that.
They're the bottom, just like they are, just like black people are to white people, they are to the rest of the native groups. Does that answer your question?
That's so funny.
What do you mean expound on that? They call them the N-words. It doesn't get worse.
Except he is right. The white guy would be like, so what do you mean by that?
Exactly how are they N-wordish? Yeah.
When I was out in North Carolina,
the question was so
there was one of the small tribes out there was the Pembrokes, and they were fighting to be recognized nationally as a tribe, and the Navajos were fighting them because it would cut into how much money they get from the government every year.
Yeah, there's one here near, well, not here, but it's like just outside New York City, actually, called the Ramapo Mountain People. And what happened was, it's in like the New Jersey mountains. And what happened is a bunch of people, a bunch of natives basically they fled up into the hills after everyone was killing everybody. And they just lived there like by themselves for so long. And so all these people like, prisoners who escaped or like black people who escaped slavery, they all kind of like made their way to this camp, the Ramapo Mountain People. And after decades and decades of weird inbreeding, it's basically the hills have eyes up there.
So this isn't Appalachia State. This is like a totally different thing.
This is, I want to say it's like, because they used to be called the Jackson Whites. Not Jackson Whites, but the Jacks and the Whites. As in, you had the people who were just kind of like flung out of society, and then the white people who were also flung out of society. So it was like a weird, but it was like comprised of renegade Indians, escaped slaves, Hessian mercenary deserters, and West Indian prostitutes, and they were known as the Jackson Whites. But yeah, this is about, I want to say it's, about 45 minutes outside like New York City. Like they're close like to the city.
Yeah.
Which to me it makes like no sense. It just seems so crazy, but all right, they too have been trying to fight for recognition and have yet to get it. And I think they're trying to say it's because they got so many mixed different races and different nationalities that they're not.
There's always reasons that are brought up to fight it, but the Navajos are the ones that always fight the most because they get the most money from the federal government. And any new tribe cuts into how much they get.
Super racist. So racist.
I was really bummed out that I wasn't able to be in Salt Lake to do stand-up this year for Thanksgiving because I had a whole bunch of just like, I've all deleted it since, but all just Thanksgiving material, just like, it probably wasn't a sweet story like we always celebrate every single year.
I think it was.
I read an article though that came out during Thanksgiving that they interviewed someone who was related to the tribe that greeted the Pilgrims when they first came to the States, and they're like, yeah, it's pretty much common knowledge to my people that that our ancestors regret not killing every single all the white people that came to.
Well, the first group of white people that came here were just killed off.
Yep.
Right. But I'm talking about the Mayflower. Yeah, fun times.
Switching gears. Every year, Christmas time, there's always that stupid debate. So we're going to address it, and we're going to come to terms.
Before you stop that, I'm going to say that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Yes, that's exactly where I'm going. Why? Give me your reasons.
Isn't it?
Because it taking place during Christmas doesn't count.
Then
takes place during a Christmas party.
Are you for or against it being a Christmas
Did you
movie?
not just hear what I said? It's but a Christmas party. Like you sound like a kid walking into an adult's conversation and just be like, "Oh, I have opinions too."
Kimball, there's no cake here. Shut up. Sorry. Yeah. Do yourself a favor. So I'm sorry. Are you debating whether it is or it is not a Christmas movie?
Because that's what everyone debates every year.
So, I know, but which side are you on?
What side are you on?
I believe that because it is on Christmas Day.
It's not Christmas Day. No company has a Christmas party on Christmas Day. You fool! You fool!
I was waiting.
Sorry, I went too hard. I realize that now. I'm gonna pull back.
I was waiting for you to continue with what you were saying, and then you just stopped yourself.
I screamed that at my students when they asked me a dumb question. I'm like, why would you ask me that, you fool? You fool! It's fun to berate them like that.
Yeah.
I do believe it's a Christmas movie, but I have real reasons.
When's Bruce Willis's birthday?
Who gives a shit? It's not
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe not to you.
Saying Bruce Willis because he was bald makes him a big baby who was killing all those people. Because I hate to break it to you, Jesus' thing wasn't killing people.
I mean, but who else walks on glass other than children?
Thank God you're not a baby. Jesus, fuck. No, this is what children do. Get on the glass, bitch.
Yeah, well, now you have an alternative perspective on Die Hard.
Who else walks on glass besides children? Was your argument. It's even dumber the second time. Oh, God. Ugh.
I'm actually amazed that I got through that sentence without cracking up.
The reason why Die Hard is a Christmas movie is because it's a retelling of A Christmas Carol, right? John McClane is Ebenezer Scrooge, okay? The criminals that are in the building, they're kind of John McClane's Ghosts of Christmas Past because he's done nothing but destroy his life and his marriage because of his job. Ghost of Christmas Present is that black dude in the limo.
Right.
You know, because he calling him up saying what's happening right now, kind of giving the details, keeping him in the moment. Then you got fucking Carl Winslow, and he's the Ghost of Christmas Future, of the kind of future that John McClane could have if he changed his ways.
So how did Twinkies fit into it?
Don't worry about it. That's the feast. That's the Christmas feast. Yes, Die Hard is a Christmas Carol.
All right, I'm in.
I've thought too hard about this one.
Seems like
Die Hard 2, a Christmas movie.
No. God, no. Die Hard 2 shouldn't exist.
What about the one with his son?
We're not talking about Die Hard 3.
Die Hard 3 is awesome. Die Hard 3 definitely deserves. Die Hard 3 made more sense of a sequel than the first one because at least you tied in the villain from the first one. 2 was just like arbitrary. It was just, oh, the coincidence happens twice in the same season. Fuck you, Die Hard 2. You don't belong to exist. I might care too much. I might need to dial that one back.
Do you actually genuinely like the Die Hard series besides 2?
I like 1 and 3.
1, 3.
But I haven't really seen 1 in a long time. I would say I was probably a teenager the last time I watched any of the Die Hards.
Do you like them better than Lethal Weapon?
Most things on Earth are better than the Lethal Weapon series. Lethal Weapon to me is like the most overrated pile of shit. The story sucks. The acting's terrible. They're barely buddies for a buddy cop series. And everyone fucking loves them. I don't get it. Now, the later ones, when like Pesci started showing up, at least they got interesting because Joe Pesci is just, you want to watch him when he's ever on screen because he's just anything he does, even when he's the comic relief, steals the scene.
Right.
What's the last one I saw? It's that one with, was 6 the last one with Chris Rock in the mix? And then he did part of his comedy routine. That was fucking horrific. Horrific.
I don't remember that.
I do. I was just like, didn't I see this shit on Weekend Update? What the fuck's going on? I don't like that. I don't like comedians shoving their ass in movies and then wanting to do part of their stand-up routine.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you knew this. There is... I want to... Wait, let me look up something because I want to make sure...
Well, it's the same reason why most sitcoms based on stand-up work don't work because someone else is doing the writing. And you can't have a stand-up shtick go for a year a series.
Did you know that there was a Dennis Rodman, great actor.
He's also a great spokesman for the U.S. through North Korea.
Dennis Rodman and Dane Cook was in an action film together called Simon Says. The Says is spelled S-E-Z because it's from the street, yo. And the tagline is, "It ain't over till Simon Says." And in the middle of the fucking movie, Dane Cook is sitting there doing his fucking Velociraptor impression for no reason. Zero reason he starts doing the bullshit that he did on stage. I highly recommend it. You should watch it. It's really funny. I like watching like older film star movies. Like I'll watch anything with Van Damme in it now.
Oh my gosh!
I'll watch. I will absolutely drop my children on the cement to watch a Steven Seagal movie in 2021. Shit, yeah, dude, I am in. Because that shit's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be amazing. There was a movie where he was a sniper. I believe it was called Sniper. It was almost like an excuse to make a movie where Steven Seagal could sit down for most of the movie. Because in most of the movie, he's just sitting there with a gun. Going like, That's how
was that your Tommy Wiseau impersonation?
No, that was the master, Steven Seagal.
You mean Lieutenant Seagal? You better give him his goddamn respect.
Lieutenant Seagal.
I don't know his actual rank.
Show, by the way, his reality show was the best thing on TV.
Of him being a cop?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I try to have sex with every assistant I've ever had. And apparently you can't do that. These dumb broads. Ruining all my fun.
I think it's funny that Steven Seagal hasn't had like any publicity or anything really in the last 10 years. And then Tom Segura decides to dress up as him for the dance video.
Yeah.
And he somehow got stock again.
He's always had stock in my mind. So what was his like first big break? Was it Under Siege or?
Believe it or not, you know way more about Seagal than I think either of us combined. So I think you're just talking to yourself right now because I've seen him in one movie. Don't remember which one it was. I remember. What the hell am I watching right now?
That sounds right. Then you know what? You were watching a Steven Seagal film. That's why I like about him, because I'm always so fucking confused about why is this man on film? Why am I watching? Why all of a sudden he's doing the worst karate moves I've ever seen in my life? And why does a man that old still have a ponytail?
So Steven Seagal's career began in '87 on the film Above the Law.
Above the Law, that's right. Because he was above the law.
Now in Wikipedia, I have to read the next sentence here word for word.
So, okay.
Following its success.
Oh, dude, Above the Law was huge when it came out.
So following that, the next movies were Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, and Out for Justice.
Out for Pizza.
I
think that's what happened after he got famous. Then it was Under Siege, and I think Under Siege was his biggest film, and that was 92, and that's his peak. And then he's been riding that wave ever since.
Well, and before he actually released that film in April 20th, 91, he was on an episode of SNL.
Yeah, he hosted, and he's banned for life. It was like the worst of the worst. So
I think not that it would be funny, Actually, no, it would be funny, but not for the comical reasons that we would expect. But I think he should be in line to do the remake of Beverly Hills Ninja.
Like Chris Farley's brother.
Yeah.
Except that he can't move as good as Chris Farley does.
No, and that's why it would be hilarious.
I'm fighting you right now.
Because Chris Farley had no martial arts training, but he was just a fat, funny, fat guy.
No, I want you to finish that sentence the way you started.
He was limber.
I want you to finish that sentence the way you started it. He wasn't martially. Continue.
I corrected myself.
I don't want you to correct yourself. Continue with martially.
He was martially trained.
Yes.
In the arts of karate.
And the arts of karate. Good news, everybody. Pre-production Above the Law 2. Yeah. What kind of pre-production meetings do you think they have? Just like what kind of cheeses the craft table is going to have?
No, I think they just go through his IMBD.
They're like, remember I did this? There's no story? Come on. Plot unknown. A sequel to the 1998 action film Above the Law. Oh, well. I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
They should have a...
Now, because of the delay between the last podcast and this one, I am very curious what your perception is of Alex Baldwin and Rust.
Alex? You mean Alec?
Alec. Sorry.
Sorry, I forgot to plug my computer in. It's in now. We're good.
Alec Baldwin, the greatest actor of our time. Continue.
Alex Baldwin is probably... here's the thing. Surprised something like this hasn't happened sooner. Every film production I've ever been on has always cut every corner imaginable. Everyone's lives are in danger all the time. I'm surprised more actors don't accidentally get killed in films. And when it comes down to
guns?
I'm just saying in general, the sets are flimsy.
Sets are so dangerous.
Are badly put together. But when it comes down to it, in that instance, I do not blame Alec Baldwin whatsoever. That is the prop master's job to make sure that if there's a live round, that it gets nowhere near a living human being. It has nothing to do with I don't think it has anything to do with the producer, the star, the executive producer. All responsibility lies solely in the hands of the prop master who gave that gun with a live bullet in it to anybody to point at someone else.
Prop
Same
master
thing with
gave Alec the gun.
Same thing with the Crow. Our dad knew the guy who was the prop master on that. He was some producer's son, was a total jackass the whole time, didn't pay attention to anything. And on the Crow, they were using the same gun for real bullets as they were for fake ones. Just buy 2 fucking guns. Make sure that one is locked up at all times.
Aside from anything else, there's no reason why there should be live rounds on the set at all.
Exactly. So I'm just sitting here going, that is not Alec Baldwin's fault. That is a prop master's fault. Yeah, that's my opinions on it. And that prop master should go to jail for murder. I mean, that is such gross negligence. Stuff like that almost never happens on movie sets when it comes to guns. Especially when it comes to guns, that's where all the safety is. Because when you start talking about people going to the hospital, like people dying, that's huge. But all the stuff I was saying before, I was meaning more like props are sets are so badly put together. Yeah. And a lot of people are put into a lot of really dangerous situations that they probably shouldn't be doing for the production. I've seen a lot of really shady shit. Luckily, most of it there's at least one or two people on every set who actually knows what the fuck they're doing and keeps the crazy shit in check and at least a little safe, you know?
Who do you think is
That's the
typically
end of the
cutting?
fingertip that I lost on Mara Brothers testing a gag.
Exactly.
What's
Who's
in a
usually
chicken
the
sandwich?
person making the decisions to cut corners?
I know you're gonna rope me into this whole like producer thing, but here's the facts. Producers can ask all they want, but when you start laying down the law about safety, they always give in. I've never seen a producer go, "No, do it unsafe." Now, if they expressly said that, then yeah, I can give some secondary manslaughter charges thrown at a producer. I'll give you that. But I think most of the time, when it comes down to it, most prop masters would go without certain props than to be unsafe.
I do know Dad, I was talking to him about it, and he was saying there's a handful of films he was on where directors, he had to go head to head with the director saying, no, this violates our policies and I'm not going to give up my career for you.
Yeah. And you know what? There's a lot of directors who don't even know those policies, and it's your job as a prop master or whatever, or special effectsman, to keep them in check. That's part of the job. And to refuse to do things when you know it's unsafe. So even if a producer just says, you know, do it or else, be like, okay, or else. What are you gonna do now?
Well, and that's where I think some of the blame does go on to Alec Baldwin as a producer, because he got the cheapest armorer he could, and she didn't have the experience to be able to stand up and say no. Of course,
yeah, but how many
again,
producers are on that flick? I think people just want to go for a name because people like to see names go down. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just because he's a producer doesn't mean that he's sitting there making the day-to-day decisions. You know, because they probably just brought him a piece of paper and said, we could go with this person who's twice as much, or this person right here who's got this price. You know, you're probably not thinking in those terms. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and I think some of the culpability also has to lie on the first AD who handed Alec the gun. Why was he touching the gun at all?
Yeah, that's really weird. Only the prop master should be handing guns to anybody.
Ever.
And trust me, I'm no Alec Baldwin lover. I'm not sitting here being like he's just like my favorite actor of all time, because he's not. I think he's a pretty big asshole from the stories I've heard from people. I just don't think that I'm willing to say all of it lies on his shoulders for blame.
There's not one person to blame. There's a pile of people to blame on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think people know, like, he's known as kind of a dickhead in Hollywood, and they just want to see.
He has a history.
Yeah. So I think I think people go back and remember him calling his daughter a pig in a voicemail and go, you know what? Let's take this asshole down.
Well, and in his interview, he said, I didn't kill that person. No, you pulled the gun. You killed them. Responsibility may not be on you, but you still pulled the trigger.
I don't blame him for that. I think he's got to dissociate himself from it, or else he's going to go crazy from guilt.
Yeah.
I think that's a normal human response, to try to disassociate yourself cognitively like that. Did I mention I'm about to get a bachelor's?
On more positive Hollywood news, well, depends on your point of view. Rob Zombie has.
Weigh in.
What? What's that?
Jeremy's going to weigh in.
Sorry.
I had nothing to say about the Alec Baldwin thing. I was just going to ask.
You brought it up and you have no opinion? Cool. Awesome.
No, he was transitioning, and so I was trying to transition to another thing. Did you hear about the Astroworld incident? Travis Scott.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
Well, it combines the things I enjoy the most in life: shitty music and death.
There was plenty of that.
No, I mean, I honestly don't understand with for how like careful people still are being with COVID stuff, how that was so full. Because like I saw how full that thing was. You know, you saw the pictures and stuff, and I'm like, that was like some 2005 shit right there. You know what I'm saying?
50,000 people packed.
That's crazy. And here's the thing. Of course that was going to happen. It was too small of a space for too many people. I'm surprised more people didn't die, to be honest with you.
No, I agree. It's just a weird thing because like hours before that happened, before deaths were even recorded, there was footage of a bunch of kids storming the VIP booth to get into the concert, like 200 kids, and they like broke down the barricades and got through security, about like 200 kids. And so for them not to just cancel the event right then and there is strike one for me. And then you know, after the reports of like 4 unconscious people, not just from like from dehydration, but from suffocating and being trampled. It's like, are we not going to stop the music for 15-20 minutes just to back everybody out, clear everything out, and get those people taken care of? It was just a complete shit show. And then the fact that there was about 2 different people climbed up the scaffolding to go to the cameraman in the middle of the crowd to be like, hey, call someone over here. Look right there. There's someone literally dead. I'm looking at a dead person right now. Call someone to take care of this. And they're not acknowledging that person. They're too worried about their job at that point to focus on. Like there's just so many like videos taken from the concert goers.
Yeah, there's like a plethora of just like things breaking down and going wrong.
It's haunting.
Well, yeah, they should have at the least shut down the concert when the kids were jumping on top of the golf cart that was the ambulance.
Yeah, right. Did you see that video, Hyrum?
Yeah. No, I wasn't laughing at that. I was laughing. It's like, were we supposed to be like a comedy podcast? 2 death stories right in a row.
Well, if we want to talk about
New
Kentucky
eco-friendly
real quick.
Was that what?
Let's talk about Kentucky for the next 10 minutes.
I thought you said Bukkake. Sorry.
No,
Kimball.
Kentucky.
It's a joke.
There's a news item that I grabbed for you, Hyrum, that I've been wanting to read the whole time. New eco-friendly plastic made of salmon sperm is created in China. It's combined with vegetable oil.
How many of them can you eat?
It gets worse. It's combined with vegetable oil to create soft, recyclable, moldable gel, which can be used for electronics, but it has to be kept dry.
Because all the semen will get all excited.
It's just the thought of someone making that into a cup.
What, salmon semen cups? They're the. Wow.
Real quick, activate the goo.
You can't.
Your hot cocoa in that.
Get it wet, so I don't understand how you what.
To activate it.
So if you get it wet and it activates, does it like turn into like some sort of like grapey, bleachy type flavor, or?
They didn't say what the flavor was.
Oh.
On a scale.
That's the fucking point.
Scale of 1 to 10, how salty?
That's actually by the ocean salty. All that salmon jizz. I don't even know. Is our salmon like salt water? I like how Jeremy keeps looking over to the woman he's got tied up in the corner.
No, I mean, she's been here for weeks, but
do those girls count as women?
I'm trying to do a thing here. Shut up.
It's funny how you were kind enough to call them women. I call them animals.
Just eat from this trough, you pig.
Yeah. No. So I saw on Bleacher Report before this podcast started. There's a guy who made a $20 bet on a 13-leg parlay for all the games this week, and he needs the Arizona Cardinals to win by 3 points to win $100,000 off of $20.
Neato.
So I was
you're
just like,
watching the game just in case some other guy can make money.
I find it interesting.
Can we have a sidebar, Kimball?
Sure.
These are signs. These are called red flags. Your son is exhibiting. I'm afraid he's probably going to die one day having to owe somebody a lot of money while he's nuts deep into some sailor trying to find that cash to pay off his gambling debts.
Now, he'd actually be working to make the money.
Could he hear me this
to
whole
pay
time?
back the
No,
debt.
we did a sidebar.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, nothing. Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?
I'm going to. I was actually watching the game.
Cool. I hope it's a good game.
I have someone that I know who has money on the game.
Cool. That's great.
Sorry, what were you saying, Dad? Father, you were speaking. Continue.
What?
All I can imagine is Jeremy on a meat hook somewhere. Just
No, what I was saying is rather than you pounding somebody to make the money, you were being pounded to earn money.
Somebody to make the money. That is, I didn't word it like that. I said there was some romance when I said it.
Yeah. Yeah, because the Italians are really good at romance.
The gambling addiction, the male prostitution, or the drug habit.
I mean, you live in New York. You've heard of Barstool Sports, haven't you?
Have I heard of what?
Barstool Sports.
Yeah, everyone around here wants to shut the fuck up about it.
That would be the reason why I'm into it.
You realize that I have to teach fucking 18-year-olds. Yeah, of course I've heard of the Joe Rogan podcast and Barstool fucking Sports.
Well, I forgot you're in like the one. You're in the woods. You're in the conservative area of New York. It was just all pro Rogan and football.
Yeah. Every semester I get some 18-year-old kid who's like never listened to one of them, and all of a sudden he wants to like start smoking DMT with everybody. You're like, just calm down. It's fine.
Yeah, have you ever heard of this guy named Jordan Peterson? You're like, dude, calm down. Chill out.
He's like,
Talking about New York.
Sense.
How are the brothers Crumb doing?
One of them died.
What?
Buddy died. He died of COVID.
You're kidding.
Oh, that sucks.
It is real. Damn it. COVID's real, guys. Fuck. God damn it.
I'm going to share my screen real quick because I want you to see his obituary.
Yeah, I want to see which brother it was.
Can you see that?
No. Oh no. The legend is he is human.
There's Buddy Crumb. Buddy L. Crumb, loving companion, brother and uncle. I like how he lives in like Harry Potter land. Buddy Crumb,
Yeah, because he's not from this world.
9th and a half Street. What are you saying?
He's not from this world.
He's not. He's better than us. Anyway, died at Olean General Hospital following a brief illness. They didn't even want to say COVID. That's how serious this was. This is my favorite part, though. Okay. Buddy was well known in Olean for all the odd jobs he would do for many people, including mowing and shoveling snow. Mowings, I don't. Can you mow snow? Buddy would help anyone.
You can with your mouth.
Buddy would help anyone, young or old, that needed something done, even without getting paid. He enjoyed helping others by going to benefits, whether he knew the person or not. Buddy enjoyed attending Reverend Tyrone Hall at the Church Without Walls, movies, and taking his stepson to Burger King. That made it into the obituary.
Just hey bud, you want to go to the King?
And then there's some online condolences. I don't think this is here. His online condolences are still there.
Wait, go back. You missed the part where he left a girlfriend.
We don't like to talk about Buddy's love life.
Was he nefarious?
So Roger Crumb, that's the other Crumb. So it's Buddy and Roger, which is such a good
Which one did the exorcism?
duo name, right? Buddy and Roger. What's that?
Which one did the exorcism?
It was Buddy. So we lost a spiritual leader, everyone. So his girlfriend, Lori Swan, I don't know who that is, and I don't really feel like doing a deep dive.
Deep dive.
I'm gonna cyber stalk somebody who decided to fuck a Crumb.
No, you have.
Just-
I mean,
it just-
I feel like you have
It just
to. 'cause
feels
that's
like it's gonna end in a lot of disappointment and tears. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, one up for the Crumb brothers.
Oh yeah. This is for you. This is for you, buddy. One for me. I'm not gonna spill it. One
I was gonna say.
for my Crumb homies. You know, I usually don't shed a tear when people die, and this was no different. So good job. Why did he leave? What happened?
Oh, is he gone?
What the hell? He was so upset he couldn't go on.
You were so.
He was so
That just
upset he
broke my
couldn't
heart.
go on with the podcast. He was like, "But Buddy's not here. Neither am I."
I was moving the window and it hit the wrong button.
So, Buddy Crumb of 11D 9th and a half Street,
May you rest in.
3rd. All right.
May Burger King rest his soul.
I wonder if they buried him in one of those crowns.
Instead of flowers, it's just a bunch
We
of.
know you loved the Whopper, even the Impossible Whopper.
And you couldn't get enough of those $1.50 nuggets, 10 apiece.
I love that.
Instead of grabbing like dirt and dumping dirt into the ground, they just get $1.50 nuggets and just dip it, just dump them all in there.
You joke about that, but our brother was buried with Coke, so
Was it Coke or Coke Zero?
it was Coke Zero, but it's still Coke. Have you blocked that, Jeremy?
I don't know. I don't really remember that.
There were some a lot of really funny moments at our brother's funeral. That was one of them. That was up there.
Besides
I
you
still
swearing
wish we would
it.
have done it on Halloween.
I didn't swear. I was speaking from my heart.
I thought it was hilarious. It was just fun. It was funny for me because I looked over at the bishop and he was just like,
He's like, some people grieve in weird ways. I'm like, he's an asshole.
yeah.
Everyone knew it.
Well, it was just funny
He was
that
our asshole.
It was our asshole.
it was just so amazing. There was 2 rows of our family that were dying hysterically at that joke, and everyone else was just like
Yeah.
in their seats, just like, what the hell is happening?
I honestly wonder how many people got that dead parrot sketch reference though. You know?
Pretty much just that middle section sitting around me.
Because it was like I knew you and Peter would, and I knew Brady would, and some of his brothers. But I didn't know if anyone else would even understand what I was saying. So that's why I decided not to go all the way to the X-parrot as an X-human line. I thought, just in case somebody wasn't. One of my favorite parts about this obituary, by the way, coming back to Buddy, how the Reverend rhymed his name with his church. Reverend Tyrone Hall at the Church Without Walls. I don't know why that makes me laugh so hard. It makes me think of a really fun church where everyone's...
It reminds me of Blues Brothers.
I was trying to say it nicely, but that kind of church, yeah.
Every church needs a trampoline.
Yeah, the Shivwitz church.
I wasn't talking about the trampoline. Did you get what I was saying? Or
Dan, did you not hear what I said?
what'd you say?
The Shipwitz church.
Oh my God, I'm gonna die. Should we call this the death threat episode?
Not only the last episode of the year, but the last episode ever, because we'll get canceled for everything.
Willard family members enjoyed their last podcast before their deaths. I told one of my students that in terms of whiteness, Jesus would have actually looked like a guy who would have hijacked a plane and flew it into the World Trade Center. Which is accurate. Yeah, but I don't think they were really understanding what I was trying to say.
I'm feeling too hung up on the Jesus flying into buildings.
I'm just trying to make a simple analogy so people would understand what his real skin color was.
He would have floated the plane into the World Trade Center.
He would have been like fucking Captain Sully and landed it on the water. Of course, duh.
Yeah.
Does that mean Captain Sully's Jesus?
I think at least he thinks he is.
He's actually, from the interviews I've seen, a really humble guy.
Fuck you.
I work with pilots every day. They are not humble guys.
Narcissistic asshole.
There was this one guy I was talking to between flights in the jet bridge, and he's like, "Yeah, life's kind of a little complicated right now because I get my kids every other weekend for my ex, but I'm trying to balance that with my girlfriend and my other girlfriend who found out about each other." I
knew I should have become a fucking pilot. They got the living the dream.
Yeah. So
that guy's about 4 months away from killing himself. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, no, he was for sure a coke bender then.
He is spiraling.
Yeah, no.
If he was sloppy enough to let one girlfriend know about the other.
Right. And then there's this
you know what you gotta do is be like Jeremy. Have 0 girlfriends, that's never gonna happen.
It's less emotional damage that way.
Oh, that's what the porn stash is for.
What's that?
Keep the girlfriends away. The porn stash.
Well, no. You know what? I'm going to take all my porn stash jokes away because you don't look like that. Because you look like Jeffrey Dahmer. You 100% look like Jeffrey Dahmer. You know that, right?
I can't do any killing right now because the ground's too cold in Salt Lake.
I'm bringing up an image. Let's get him up there because there's pictures of him with a mustache, and that's what it reminds me of. Oh, come on, you bitch! Doesn't Google the fucking worst sometimes? But basically, it's this, right? It's like this. This over here, that's what you look like.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's you right now.
I feel like I have more life in my eyes.
No, about the same. Wait, is there a picture of him smiling? I don't think he smiled much, but we'll see. How come there's no Jeffrey Dahmer smiling pictures? Oh.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I'm not smart enough to be my own lawyer.
No, I mean, that's true. Oh, come on, not one smiling. You know what? I need more serial killers who smile. Ted Bundy had it good. He had a nice smile, you know?
Yeah, too many.
There we go. That was exactly like you. Oh, God, your penis is going to shrivel and die.
There we go.
Oh, my God. Beautiful. There it is.
Yeah, that first one right there.
Oh.
But I see a tab with the word cops in it.
Cops investigating after Washington State TV station accidentally airs 13 seconds of porn during a weather report.
What's wrong with that? I mean, you want to get people interested in news, right?
Especially the weather.
What kind of porn was it?
It was, the image I have is blurred, so I don't know.
See, they never report the important stuff. Was it a gangbang? Was it girl on girl? Was it, DP? Was it MILFs? Was it college girls? Was it like community college girls?
P&P.
What?
There is one clip here that shows part of it, so it looks like it's girl, guy, doggy.
Perfect. Classic porn position. What's wrong with that? You know what? I think most people would remember the news. In fact, I think most of my students would remember what I'm saying better if I had porn playing. I've been trying to get my chair to I have a whole proposal of the different porn videos for different subjects, because you don't want something too complicated on your porn when you're doing something complicated on the board. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So I got a question for you. So not that you engage in these...
In porn?
Yeah, no, I was going to say...
students pornography?
No, I was going to say, well, yeah, hopefully that.
Yeah! In the background, getting railed. I love how
It blurred it.
Notice it. That's so great.
Do you know what the party life is like out in Alfred for the college kids?
It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Is it?
Normal college shit. Lots of acid, lots of cocaine.
Because my question is...
Lots of booze, lots of weed, lots of sex, lots of assaults.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Because I've been there. I just have no idea where you would do these parties at.
There's certain houses. There's a lot of frats around.
Oh, is there? Okay, so that's what I didn't know.
So there's plenty of frats, and there's plenty of just they have club houses where they don't really have they don't have a hockey team. They have a hockey club that plays like they're a team and has a coach and everything. So they have a house where all the hockey players rent if you're on the team.
And hockey players
are the hockey house or the swim house or whatever.
Right. And hockey players are the craziest partiers in
the biggest savages in the world. You need somebody who will unquestionably roll up a prostitute in carpet and help you bury it. Hockey player.
What do you think the missing teeth comes from?
Meth.
I was going to say from the struggling girls, but yeah.
Oh, meth. No, I'm going for meth.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I learned this from watching Dr. Drew. Cocaine makes you run away from the cops. Meth makes you run to the cops.
Run through the cops.
No, they want to go to the cops and mess with them. They want to like getting confrontations with cops.
Gotcha.
So and every time I've ever had to deal with a hockey player, especially in my class, 100%, always like ready to engage authority figures. So yeah, meth heads, like drywallers.
Yeah. Or the guys who paint.
No, they're pretty chill because they're huffing paint all day.
I don't know. There's this one guy. The last site I worked on, the painters were these old guys with ponytails, and they were just coked out of their mind.
Yeah, that'll happen. Yeah, but what I'm saying, they're mellow.
Yeah, for the most part.
They're either smoking lots of weed or they're huffing, paint fumes.
So the last job I ever worked at was it was furnishing a hotel in Springdale. It was like the new Best Western there. And of course it was like under the table stuff like.
That's really weird when you say a sentence like a new Best Western. Like that doesn't like I can't picture what a new Best Western.
Well, no, that's what confused me too because it looked really nice and it was like a nice building, nice property.
Best Western. Are you sure?
Yeah, because I've driven past it.
Sign and everything.
Yeah, and then I had a friend who worked there. Yeah, so yeah, it turned out to be this. Well, it was also Springdale, so I feel like they just wanted to make it really nice or something for the hippie people. Anyway, one of the guys I worked with, we had to pick him up, and we always had to switch off who picked him up and who dropped him off at home. And periodically throughout the day, he would just disappear for like 15 minutes every 2.5, 3 hours. And he'd be pretty sluggish when he'd leave, and he'd be really pepped up and like full of energy when he came back.
Full of vinegar.
Yeah. And then one time I dropped him off from his house, or we were like down the street from his house, and he's like, dude, pull over, I'm going to throw up. I stop my car, opens up the door, throws up, and he's like, all right, I'm good to go. We later found out that guy was doing meth the entire time we were working together. Just normal construction site stuff.
Yeah. I'm listening to you going like, and what's the weird part?
Yeah. I know. I remember I tell my dad this story all the time, but coming to you after I met the racist of the site, and I was like, oh my God.
Who was actually like truly like, I'm not joking. These aren't just racist jokes I heard from my grandpa. I legitimately hate black people. That guy?
Yeah, I heard.
Freaks me out to this day too. That guy.
I heard the N-word, which is the first time I ever heard a guy say that wasn't on Xbox Live out loud.
That followed with like Jew lizard of some sort.
Yeah. And I was stunned because I walked around the porta potty, saw it right in front of me happen, and then I walked straight to Hyrum. I was like, I think I just heard the N-word. I may have been mistaken. He's like, nope, you heard the N-word correctly.
Welcome to the trade, son.
Yeah, so.
Is she struggling? Is she almost out of her binds, or?
No, I taped it twice, so we're good.
Good job. I taught you well. I mean, you.
Well, if there's witnesses, that's just more bodies in your hand.
It's very true. I tell you what, it's damn near impossible to get away with murder nowadays.
You think so?
With DNA technology, 100%. You've got to be really cunning, man. But especially how they can track your cell phone and shit. Yeah.
But that's assuming you find the body.
Pig farm. Pigs will eat anything.
That's what I'm saying. I think that you're correct, but I think if you don't find a body, it's almost impossible to find.
She just missed it, and I missed her so much. You got to do the act. Sorry, whenever I think about killing people, it's always people like loved ones.
Oh, like
or ex-wives, so whatever you want to think of. The last time I talked to her, she was like, "Have fun with the kids over the weekend."
Murder's a lot like the mafia. You got to keep it in the family.
Okay, that's a weird sentence.
Weirder than the glass comment.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. The dumbest thing I've said in a long time. The audience can rewind and relive that.
I'm not doing any callbacks. That's my signal for no callbacks.
So since this Christmas episode has been such a positive, uplifting situation, I'd like to finish out with two last news articles of notable deaths.
Okay, yeah.
Wait.
Michael Nesmith of the Monkees. He died 2 days ago.
Who? What?
Michael Nesmith of the Monkees.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a guy who got AIDS from a monkey. Oh yeah, I know who that guy is. That's not even me joking. Like I legitimately thought you were talking about AIDS monkeys.
And last week, Vicente Fernandez, a revered Mexican singer, died at 81.
Revered.
That's
fucking moron.
Revered. And the
I like
title
how
on it's totally screwed
we
up.
get to see both generations of idiots here, of people who don't know English and can't speak it.
Well, I'm just waiting for my dad to say gracias at the end of the sentence.
Yes, Vicente Fernando. Very, very super famous. One of the old school ranchero love song. Yeah, freaking. Is there any? No, I just have to say Spanish, don't I? Hispanic.
He won 3 Grammys and 9 Latin Grammys.
Watching you deconstruct all that was very enjoyable for me. Spanish, I mean.
Yeah. It was a disappointment at the end. Then
that's what was funny for me.
So man, we used to call them all sorts of names, but now they're just Hispanic. I always say because I lived there for 2 years, I can say all these words, but I'm not really allowed to
anymore.
Well, I probably shouldn't have when I came back either.
Did you teach a lot of your white friends some words?
We learned all the words for everything.
Yeah.
That's the first. Those are the first words you learn.
From the locals, probably.
Yeah. Pinche tu madre, you puta, yeah, all that stuff.
I was gonna say, I don't think they would teach puta madre in the MTC.
Yeah, they're just like, if you really want somebody to accept the Lord, say, tu madre tiene un cara de puta. Mother has the face of a bitch. Anyway, they don't teach that stuff. We just get called that stuff by everyone around us. It's a good time. I recommend it.
And you're like, gracias.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, I didn't really have to take much of it because I was, I'm so big. But there was one time there was like this, it was a kid. And he's like, hey, how come you Americans don't like Mexicans coming across the border? And you get yelled at every day, multiple times a day. Which, I mean, the answer's obvious, but, you can't say it. But so that's a joke, by the way. I'm not being genuinely racist. So I was about to lay in this kid because it was just the day I had it. It was a long day, and it was like, I was mad. And right when I was about to do that, I was surrounded 360 by just like a bunch of freaking Mexican dudes. Like, ranging from not so tough to like super tough, and like maybe probably have a knife. They all had knives. Let's be honest. They all had knives. And so I went from I was about to lay into this kid to like, dude, let's all go right now. Who's got a car? You can come with me. Let's get my passport. I'll say you're with me. Just pleading for my life like a little bitch. So yeah, go to Mexico so you can feel like you're going to die all the time.
I was going to say, how close do you think you were to cartel activity?
What's the best, most diplomatic? Oh, I guess it was a long time ago. I don't have to tiptoe around it. You saw it every day.
Really?
I was in Ciudad Juarez, man. I was in Ciudad Juarez for a year. And that's where, I mean, it's the major drug trafficking town. Like, you saw dead people in the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Did you?
Yeah. It was unnerving.
What can you play back? Do you have? Do
That's
you?
weird. I've never talked about this ever.
I've never thought of asking.
It's the first I ever heard of it.
Yeah. It's not something that's pleasant. But why not? Let's get some hits.
I was gonna say, can you just like retell the first time you saw it and like?
For the fine, right? Or wait, what? What? The first time I saw something? Well, it was
Because the only story I have seared into my memory is the time where the first and only time that you quote unquote swore on your mission when you're on the bathroom after having the shits for like a week, and then a cockroach, crawled up from the toilet, and you're like, well, fuck this place.
I swore a lot more than that.
Yeah.
It was the second time I was in Juarez because I was there for 6 months, and then I left and came back for 6 months. The second time I was in a lot more poor area than I was before. And then you would see these guys with just like Uzis, like legit Uzis. And you were just like, I remember saying like somebody I was with, I'm like, so they like, that's weird. I didn't know the cops up here had, because they had like a little uniform too.
Yeah.
And they're like, those aren't cops. Those are absolutely not cops.
And you're like, oh, fine, we should teach them.
You're like, yeah, let's teach them the word, oh God. And then the first time I came across a dead body was in an abandoned house that was kind of like empty lot, but it was like kind of walls of a house. We were cutting through it to get through to somewhere, and there was just, yeah. It was definitely, you could tell a very deliberate death. It's the best way I can put it.
So it was an OD in a warehouse.
No, which there was people ODing around that area, like heroin, to be totally exact. That was the drug of choice in that area. But this is the first time, like you could, I mean, it was, fuck it, bound and shot.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, bound and shot.
And what was going through your mind, like when you saw that? Because were you the first person to discover it, or you were just in that project?
Yeah, well, who knows? I mean, maybe everyone in the neighborhood that knew that happened and it was there, but I don't know.
Serious.
I don't know how fresh it was. I just remember looking over and we got over the wall and we both basically threw up because it was horrible. And we're just like, well, let's keep going. We don't want to stick around here. You know, I wasn't willing to play investigator at that point.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? Let's get to the bottom of this.
Let's get his
question
so we can
is
do
whether
baptism
you were
of the
going to
dead.
report it or if you bailed.
I mean, bailed is the wrong word, but like, what could I do? This is back in 2000 when, you don't have a cell phone. I'm not going to knock on, because around that area were just shops, and it was late enough that nobody was open. So by the time I'd get to somebody's house, it was kind of a couple streets over. So it's like, kind of what's the point? Plus, we were scared out of our fucking minds. Okay. It's like death in Mexico. Like, what else is new? Because you heard it all the time from everybody. You know, it's just, oh yeah, they're dead. These people are gone. Blah 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 blah. And so it's just the first time I ever saw it. But even if I called somebody, it's like, what would they do? Cops there as crooked as they come.
And now the follow-up question: what was the alternative message that you sent to Grandma and Grandpa in your letters the following week?
Oh, it's so great and spiritual here. No, I decided not to tell Mother about the horrible things I was seeing. I thought I'd be diplomatic in that way.
I mean, it's not like
honestly, for the most part, I never felt like
unsafe.
I was in danger.
Yeah, they're pretty big about like protecting people of like
Well, religious
religion.
people, missionaries for sure, because that's just a whole superstition thing. But it's just like you don't just arbitrarily kill people for the fun of it. It's business. It's not personal to them.
Right.
It's like you made a bad business deal. I got screwed out of money. I take your life to make sure everyone knows that you can't do that to me. There's one town in Chihuahua called Puebla that the entire town is run by the drug lord, but he's very benevolent. Basically, he just wants a town that runs nice, that there's no crime, that technically there's crime because of his drug syndication, but there's no
but
murder, violence. There's none of that stuff.
Yeah, keeping it clean keeps his business clean,
Yeah.
clean operating.
Yeah. So that was probably the safest town out of the entire mission. Of course, you couldn't baptize anybody because that'd be a death sentence. That'd be going straight. You're not there to go straight, but you're there to keep the town from, So it was a very strange atmosphere.
This has been my favorite podcast yet.
Really? Revisiting my PTSD? Cool. The haunted look in my eye now.
Sleep well tonight.
Just jerk off. It'll be fine. Not to that thought. Don't be gross. Come on.
On those lines, I did read an article which may help you to make more money as a teacher. There's a Taiwanese math teacher named Cheng Zhu that was trying to find a way to get more students, and YouTube was kind of flooded. So he's been putting lessons on PornHub.
So, is he naked? Is he fucking somebody?
He's completely closed, just doing differential equations with links to his online tutorial system, and he makes about $250,000 a year.
Fuck! I'm gonna start doing that. What's the guy's name? I'm gonna look him up right now. Then we'll share my screen.
CHANGHSU.
CHAN what?
GHSU.
LISA space ANN.
And no, I'm just putting into Google. I didn't have a PornHub.
Well, they actually have a link here to his PornHub account.
Teacher uses PornHub to give math lessons. Huh.
There you go. I wasn't just making it up.
I didn't think you were, but
From idle browsing.
Yeah. Idle browsing. What?
That math porn, baby.
Math. Wow. Verified PornHub performer with 6,900. Get it? 6,900 subscribers. And he's ranked 685th on the platform, but hasn't posted a single new video. Maybe they're just like, when's he gonna get to it? Like he's gonna finally do it one day. Like we're just.
Oh yeah, they're edging videos.
Just fucking gooning the whole time, just like, what's that vector? This is amazing. Well, I can't do it now. He's already fucking done it.
Well, for math.
You're saying for electrical theory, I should be on Pornhub? You know how much I'd be crucified at my job for that, especially after the investigations world that's going on right now.
Hey,
I'd just be right on the list.
Hey, if you got in trouble, just tweet out on Twitter.
Is that where I tweet out? Is it Twitter?
Well, I was thinking you might do it on MySpace, but I changed my thought.
Cool.
Tweet that you're a sex
Tom
positive. You're a sex positive person, like sex working positive.
Yeah.
And then you'll get the whole internet on your side.
Yeah.
And then you would be forced to make videos on Pornhub like that to make money.
Or is the other way to go on it is to say you're sex positive and then choose a really weird kink, and be like, look, this is my thing, okay? Like,
Right.
maybe somebody else's thing is watching a 41-year-old overweight man find voltage. But what
that's a great idea.
peak would it have to be? It would have to be something like not so crazy that nobody would believe it, but enough out there that people would be like, whoa, this guy's got a problem. But an acceptable problem.
Well, in the latest Bezos rocket that went up last week.
Stop. We're thinking about porn categories. Jeremy.
One of the guys that went up was a pansexual furry.
See, no, pansexual furry, that's too far.
Yeah,
that's not widely accepted.
Yeah.
But like, aren't all furries
you can match it up here, though.
Aren't they by definition pansexual furries?
Well, there's male and female.
But electrician furry.
Dude, have you seen the dating show Sexy Beast on Netflix?
Yeah.
Holy fuck, that's the best thing I've ever seen.
It's so uncomfortable. I hate it.
Oh, it's so uncomfortable.
I hate it so much. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Watch it. I hate every minute I watch it. I can't look away.
No, that's the thing is I've watched it and I hate it.
Yeah.
It's like
same, but I love it too.
It's like finding a bound body in Mexico. You can't see it.
Yeah, kind of. But I can talk about Sexy Beast and not wait 20 years. See the difference?
Yeah. Hey, 21 years.
Well, listen, guys, I got to wrap it out tonight.
No.
I was gonna say, instead of doing this is something we can end on. Instead of doing electrical equations for your PornHub videos, you can get your electrical tester and put them in outlist to see if there's
put over my nipples
or that.
Put it just jumper cable my balls to the 120 voltage and because now we're talking.
Yeah, that's.
You know what? I'm not even gonna do it. I'm gonna go straight to OnlyFans with that shit.
I was gonna say you should submit it to your mom's house and have them do a live show.
That's all you gotta do, and then it'll be flooded.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, my balls.
I guess it was some guy here in town that every day at lunch would go home and play songs on guitar and OnlyFans. Started getting some weird requests, so he started doing it nude. He was covered by the guitar, started making tons of money, and then his wife found out and caused a divorce.
Well, good. Who needs like an uptight bitch who just like, what, your dick's covered? Who cares? Well, even if it wasn't, who cares? How much money was he making? Probably breaking it in, right?
Yep.
These freaking stupid broads, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I thought was hilarious when OnlyFans cut off all adult content for all of 2 weeks. Well, that's where all their money came from.
That's the only money that's being made from that site.
They're thinking about doing it again.
Cool.
Which is like, all right, there goes all of your money.
They're like, you know what? We didn't learn anything from our last venture. Let's try this one more time.
Yeah.
People are fucking stupid.
Yeah, they are.
All right, do you actually have something that's outro, or are you still fucked up with all your sound?
Audio's jacked up. I'm going to have to do some experimentation.
All right, freestyle. Go ahead, HC.
No, you're going to have to spit the bars.
God. I wish I...
I like R&B stuff. You're going to have to go with it.
Do I go Shivwitz voice on this one, or?
Go full Shivwitz on
it. You never go full Shivwitz.
I think the reason why you're never going to become an artist, Jeremy, is because you should be able to take any tasty beat and spit some bars at it. So you're an asshole. Nobody likes you.
Yeah. Good thing that the thing I want to do with my life requires total silence from a crowd for all 30 seconds.
You know, the sad part is I think that's true. I think that's 100% true.
I mean, you've seen me bomb. I don't know what you're trying to get at.
I've seen you bomb looking exactly like this. Because you were reading jokes from your phone. It was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Makes you feel better. If I forget jokes now, I just go off of weird tangents.
That does make me feel a lot better. And it makes me feel like I can call you my nephew again.
Yeah, it's only been 20 years.
No, I'm kidding. That time you bombed, though, was a lot of fun for me. Not because you bombed, because it's almost like I've already done that. Like, I've done that.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, okay, this is going to be like a huge learning experience. Like, he's not going to do this again. He's not going to go up unprepared ever again. Because I've done that too. Oh my God, have I done that?
Well, that's the whole reason why comedians start on open nights, because you got to learn how to bomb so you don't do it professionally.
Oh, you do professionally too.
Yeah. No,
my favorite video to watch. Have you seen the video where Tom Segura is bombing up in like Winnipeg?
No.
Dude, it is like, from what I've heard from other comedians, he's just got that weird bad luck where he'll like single somebody out in a crowd. It just happens to be like
the mayor's daughter
there because of that guy, you know?
Right. It's the mayor's daughter kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like this video of him basically kicking a guy out. And this is not his fault, but the club, because he was with a large group of people, they were all going to leave. They're like, no, let him stay. Because if he goes, like 20 people will go out. And he's like, I don't give a shit. But then the club didn't back the comedian. They backed the heckler.
You can't do that.
Yeah. But then he went back and crushed. So there you go.
Right.
But like watching that video is almost like you would sit there and go, this is a guy who's had a special out, who's had albums out, and it still happens.
I mean,
it's fun to watch him react to it.
I was gonna say, I think, of course, like the best bomb example, and I wouldn't even consider it a bomb really, is the Bill Burr incident in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
Because like it's not.
Well, by the time he hit the stage, he just didn't give a shit.
What I'm saying is that he was a comedian for 10, 15 years up to that point, and you can still have rough patches and rough audiences. So
yeah, that's just human nature, right?
And then like there's the clip of Dave Chappelle before he went on his hiatus of Detroit turning on him.
Oh yeah.
It's like it happens to everybody. Like it's just what it is. But what you do, bombing when you're starting out, teaches you, oh yeah, this isn't. If you want to become successful at this, you can't just go up and dick around unless you're like Robin Williams. Even then,
he was the worst stand-up in the world. Let's not talk about him and stand-up.
Right. I'm just saying you have to be like coked out and just and kind of
like
out of your mind.
Behind so nobody remembers it and you go on to the next thing.
Right.
Were you ever there at one of those open mics where I was bombing? Let's be honest. I never did super well, but it was never my goal to do super well.
Right.
And in fact, it was almost like because it was one of those places that did like you could get an alcoholic drink, or you could get sodas and like smoothies.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw a lot of smoothies in the crowd, I'm like, this is going to be a rough fucking set. These are teenage kids who have no idea what any of my fucking references mean.
Were you ever around for the times of Filthy Ricky?
Yeah.
I don't think anyone bombed harder than that guy.
There was a kid who'd bomb every single night that I was there and keep going. and his jokes were the worst jokes I've ever heard. He would smoke copious amounts of weed before he got there. Half the time, he wouldn't even go up saying, oh, he was just too freaked out. And then he would go up there and go, this is a legitimate setup to one of his jokes. Guys, I know rape is bad.
Yeah.
And it's a horrible thing, but I'm going to do a set of jokes that's not about that. It's about another word that sounds like it. Are we all good? Guys, why do people vape? And he goes on this whole vape thing like we're substituting vape for rape. And it was so horrific. Like, it was not only not funny, it was like objectively offensive to if anyone had ever been assaulted. Right. And it was just like nothing about it was redeemable. Nothing about it. And he just did not stop.
Yeah.
He did his whole routine. Not one person laughed one time. And by the time he got off the stage, he was just like, I think that went pretty well. But he was too fucked up to even.
So I know we said we're going to go. I'll leave you with this last story. So I've been doing open mics in Salt Lake more recently than I have before. And there's an open mic pretty close to where Martin lives in Sandy. It's at a coffee shop. And I never went, but I went this one time. And the week before I went, one of my comedy friends now got banned for like a month and a half because he told a Jew joke, not knowing that the owner of the coffee shop was Jewish. So that was amazing. We're like, dude, you're just our favorite person now. And then the comic, not the owner.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. But then the one week I've gone, I didn't get there in time to perform, but I just stuck around to see my friends go up. And there's this one guy. And the host was like, hey man, like, just remember what we talked about, don't talk about that stuff. And he's just this awkward, sheltered, small voice kid, and we're like, oh boy, let's see what happens here. And then he just starts going off about jokes, or just like the worst jokes possible. Like, not as like, there was no premise, there was no punchline. He would just say words.
No, just like in general, bad joke writing and telling.
Yeah, it was just very one word sentence. It's just very like nothing. And then all of a sudden he gets to like, he just goes, man, I fucking hate that bitch, my ex, and just goes off on his ex about like, she broke my heart. I don't know what to do anymore. If I could do anything, I would put her in a blender. and all my friends are like, what the fuck is going on? And then the host goes on over the mic and he's like, hey man, remember what we talked about? Cut that shit out. And he's like, okay. And starts going off on his jokes again, his really, really bad jokes that he's just talking. You don't even know if they're jokes. And then he stops and he's like, sorry, I just have to say one more thing about it. If I could do one thing in my life, I would create a rocket ship so I could put her on the rocket ship and send her out into space to be alone forever.
Oh my god, dude, that is so funny.
And he's saying this like he's about to cry, and he's saying these things with pure like school shooter vibe voice. And finally the guy who's hosting it goes up. He's like, all right, man, you're done. Sorry, we talked about this. We don't want to do this anymore. Give it up for Giorgio. And everyone's just like,
yeah, just like, good job.
And then and so I turned to my buddy Nick, and I was like, what the fuck did we just witness? He's like, I don't know, but it's probably not good.
The best thing you've ever witnessed, you mean?
Oh no, and so it gets better. I go downstairs, I go get a drink. Yeah, no, the story's not over yet. I go down to get a drink. Oh no, what happened? The way it ended is that some lady came up and was like, "You gotta shut the fuck up and stop talking about that shit. Like you know, like we've talked to you about." Like some lady's heckling this guy just out of nowhere.
Or like she works there.
I think she worked there. I'm pretty sure.
Like, yeah, we don't want to hear this anymore. Stop talking. Oh yeah.
Right, but she was going being super aggressive about it, like, shut the fuck up, you're such a piece of shit, like, and the guy's just standing there, and then finally the host comes in and like gets it off, and finally does the Georgia thing where like, okay, whatever just happens,
the comedy styles of Georgia.
yeah, so whatever just happened, we were just like, all right, that's awesome. I go downstairs, go to get a drink, and the lady that yelled at him was having a heated conversation with the host and the owner. And then all of a sudden, I look around the corner because I was waiting for my drink to be made, and there's a girl with a guitar crying, and she's like, and I got to like the end of the conversation, but all I heard from her was like, I just don't feel safe being here anymore. Like, if he's gonna be here, I don't want him to be here. So I'm just gonna stop coming. So the ex-girlfriend was there and heard all the shit happening. The girl crying.
That's probably what triggered him.
It was awesome. It was by far the greatest open mic every open mic experience.
So,
I just not fun. I only have fun because I've made my comedy friends and we just shit talk.
Yeah. No. So like my question is, do you think he knew she was there?
I think so.
He saw her and that triggered him.
I don't know.
No, I think if he saw her, it'd be a bigger confrontation than it was.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I don't think he saw her because she was down. Because I didn't see her the whole time, and I didn't see anyone get up and leave.
They must have met while doing open mics then.
I don't know. That was my first time.
Amazing though.
Yeah, I haven't been back since because I'm afraid that he's going to show up with a gun. But yeah, but Giorgio got banned. He got banned for a little bit because of that. Yeah, Giorgio's a hero.
I was there one night at an open mic down in St. George when a white kid decided he wanted to rap a rapping song full of raps, and just decided to do a famous one because he didn't have any talent.
Yeah.
And decided not to edit out any of the N-words in the rap song. So when he went and sat down, this really big, mean black dude came over to his table, and they had a few choice words that ended with the table being flipped and about 4 or 5 people trying to get this black guy to not kill the white guy. Not that we cared that he killed him, but we just didn't want to have to talk to the cops.
Yeah, right. And do you know what I have to say to that?
That kid to die, but
for sure. For sure. And you know what my response is to that story?
Yeah. No, the black guy was totally in the right. I'm not saying he's wrong at all. We were just like, we don't want you to get in trouble. We hate him too.
If we all collectively beat him up, we won't go to jail.
So about the next month or so, every open mic there was a hey, no racial slurs policy, which was really weird.
Hey guys, thanks for coming to Jazz.
That sucks. I'm actually doing a lot of prior stuff tonight, so
yeah, there goes half my material. Welcome to Jazzy's. Thank you for all coming out, all 5 of you who are the only people here to perform. Also, no N-words. Yeah,
that's true and sad.
They tore down that building. They remade a new type Jazzy's there now, called Blue Cats.
Same owner.
So it's 3rd try.
Well, the second try didn't have a stage area and open mic stuff. He just had his old instruments up as props.
But the second try worked really well. It's just that they were going to tear the whole place down anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like sell out. You make your money and then build your.
I was misinterpreting. After they tore down Jazzy's, he opened up the Zion Cafe over by Albertsons, where it was just a sandwich shop.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
From there, he went back over.
Oh, okay. No, because I thought Jazzy's on what's that? Telegraph. Bluff. Yeah, Bluff. That was the first one, and then he made another one out in Sunset. That lasted for maybe where like the old comic book store used to be.
Yeah. I forgot he was part of that, and that they were trying to do that was more music based. They try to have live jazz every night, but not great jazz. And the market's not there for it
Well,
here.
in southern Utah, there's not great jazz everywhere. Weird.
Yeah.
Here's my jazzy rendition to On High on Kolob. You're like, okay.
You're like,
Settle
It was
down.
really funny, though, the sandwich shop, he was out front of the register. His wife would run the back, and that was it. They had no other employees. They lived there.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a good life.
this is the bebop version of Kamal E. Faithful.
A lot of N-words in that one, too.
Yeah, at least in my version.
And with that, I
He's
think
like,
we'll call it a
wait.
night.
Because you're not getting in.
No, that's because it's not real.
Oh yeah, we have to pretend, right? Because there's no music.
Yeah, let's listen.
Yeah.
Let's
it's
dance
on
like we're
later.
listening to that the Compton version of. Oh yeah, thanks.
I don't know if this is in tune though. I'll just do some classical. That's nice. That's good. Done.
It works.
5 second riff.
Good night.